Okay, so finally then, we're looking at the underlying principles, okay, and home dehydration um, of at home. So these are the preservations we can do at home, okay? So how does this chemical preservation work? All right, the underlying principle, again, very important. So chemical preservation preserves food as the chemical preservatives create a concentrated solution, so osmosis occurs because water is drawn out of the microbial cell to equalize the solution. So if there's more acid or sugar on the outside, the water is drawn out of the cell to try and equalize it. And then they die because they're dehydrated. The acids lower the pH level, and this makes the environment more acidic, and this inhibits microbial growth and inactivates enzymes because they love the neutral pH of 7. So, three methods of home chemical preservation. My words seem to have gone for me. Jam making, which uses sugar, so we've looked at it there. Chutney making, which is sugar and vinegar, and we've just looked at it there. And then pickling. So pickling, we would have done this as a few years ago. We made pickled gherkins, okay, the little pickles themselves, as we call them. Brine and vinegar. Brine is salty water, okay. So again, you can imagine the high salt content dehydrates the microbial cells by osmosis. So brine acts as the preservative as salt dehydrates microbial cells by osmosis, and this causes them to die, okay. So pickled onions, pickled gherkins, which are baby cucumbers. And what else do I eat? Beetroot. There's a mixed pickles of cauliflower and things like that as well. You can also pickle eggs. There's a line, I won't eat them, but it's a great way if you had excess eggs, if you had your own hens, it's one way of keeping them, okay? So finally then, something that probably isn't done as much as it used to be is home dehydration, okay? So just here, where say for dried fruit, there's loads there on the Tesco website. Dried, raisins, sultanas, apricots, dates, banana crisps. There's loads of them there that can be used to dehydrate. Okay, dehydration is an uncommon method, as I said. It is usually carried out in a low temperature oven. So you can put your temperature on in the kitchen down very low in the hot press. And nowadays, people have started using their microwaves on the defrost setting for about 30 to 40 minutes as well, as another way of dehydrating. Okay, so there's some dried apple slices. They're a bit chewy. I love banana chips. They're really hard to bite, nearly crispy because of the dehydration, and the high sugar content, I suppose, doesn't help either. So let's have a look. How does this work? Dehydration preserves food. You can highlight this. It removes the moisture. We know that microbes love moisture and need it to reproduce. And this inhibits microbial growth because of the lack of water, and it inactivates enzymes, okay? So here they've a few, I'm going to show you what in a second. Herbs like basil and rosemary, you can hang up fresh basil and rosemary in your hot press for a couple of weeks and it will dehydrate naturally. Fruit, as the apple slices there, and banana chips. And vegetables like chilies, parsnip crisp, sounds amazing, and tomatoes, okay? So sun-dried tomatoes, that's your best bet. In Ireland, we don't have that luxury. Because of the lack of sun, I suppose. So let's have a look here. This is a beginner's guide to dehydration, okay? It's my go-to website. No, I'm only joking. I Googled it. Everything you need to know about preserving the freshness of your food while extending shelf life, okay? So why dehydrate? There's almost no easier way to preserve food than dehydrating, and it's used for thousands of years. That helped food to last without refrigeration. It's quick, and it's the least expensive way to save your harvest. You don't need any special equipment, okay? And if you're going off backpacking and camping, yes, not. It can also lighten the weight of your food made, so it will save your back and save your wallet, okay? So how does it work? It, as we've said there in the book, it reduces your moisture content between 5 and 20%, and within that range, the bacteria that causes food decay can't survive, okay? So by removing moisture, you're also extending the lifespan. So how can we dehydrate? So the first one is sun-dried. So think of your sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, so for about 12,000 years, people have sliced fruit and placed it on racks or lines in the sunshine. Sun drying is very effective in places with long periods of hot sun. Okay, so the ancient Romans commonly ate raisins and dried figs thanks to their Mediterranean climate. Okay, air drying, just leave it out. You know yourself, you leave the cheese out uncovered, it starts to dry and goes hard and darker in color. You leave the bread open, it starts to harden because the moisture is being sucked out to the air. Okay, so air drying works well for greens and herbs, especially those you're saving for culinary mixes and herbal teas if you're that way inclined. Solar drying, okay, that uses a dehydrator, which is a machine. Okay. Oven drying, so put your oven down to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below 100. Okay, could be around 80 maybe. So you can put things in there like herbs as well and apple slices. You can buy what's called an electric dehydrator. There's one there. You don't have to be very committed. At that stage, that will suck the water out. It's like a dehumidifier nearly, sucking out the water. Or nowadays, as I said to you there, you can dehydrate in a microwave oven. Okay, so it says generally microwave foods take about 20 to 40 minutes to dry fully on the defrost settings for about 30% of the power. Okay, and herbs in the microwave only takes about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so what can we dehydrate? Fruits, vegetables, meat and fish, nuts and seeds, sprouted grains, herbs, and then crackers, breads, and granolas for your raw food diet. Again, if you're that way inclined. Okay, so back to our books. So that is our home preservation section done. All right, tomorrow we start on commercial preservation. So we're going to look at commercial freezing at very low temperatures. We're looking at canning, commercial dehydration, and then fermentation and irradiation. Okay, so we're chipping along nicely. Please always contact me if there's any issues or I'm going too fast, etc. And I will leave off the written work again today. Okay, and we'll go fresh again tomorrow. But I would like you to have a look at this if you can. All right. Okay. Talk to you.